And a lot of people were on the fence when it came to Jalen Hurts. And I put myself on the fence category.
I was on the fence.
Yeah, let me see you do this thing.
Was I on the fence? Was I on the fence, guys?
You were a believer.
You were a believer.
You were a believer.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. So big day today for the Eagles. How about the accolades keep rolling in here? So they've had 3 straight players of the week. Okay.
Yep.
Now they have a player of the month in Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts named the offensive player of the month in the NFC. How about this, guys? How about this start? 66 of 98, 916 yards, completing more than 67% of his passes, 4 TDs, just 1 pick, not his fault. 106.5 passer rating. He's rushed 37 times for 167 yards, and he's got 3 rushing touchdowns. Not a bad little start for the first 3 games for number 1.
You know what I give him for that?
A bonus?
There it
That's
is.
an da for that?
I'm just curious. How do you spell da? I'm just curious.
A-H
dash
D-A
okay
dash D-A-H.
You need to get a sweatshirt or a T-shirt.
You got to copyright that, man.
I love it, man.
Put it in Barrett's own dictionary.
It's there
according to Barrett.
What is that hoodie? What is that hoodie we're rocking?
Oh, that's a little Ralph Lauren. You know,
that's cool, man.
Ralph Lauren.
No,
but Adada is like, you know, there it is.
I know what it means, but I'm just curious if you know how to spell it.
Just like long story long.
That's another one that goes into the Barrett personal dictionary.
Hotter than fish grease.
Yeah. There you go. That's what I'm saying.
You guys, I feel it right here because you guys actually listen to me. I appreciate that.
I ain't going that far.
Yeah, I wouldn't stretch it.
Yeah.
Derek, some things get caught.
Yeah,
with Derek, and some things go right out the other ear.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
But no, look, nonetheless, I mean, think about it. We went into this season, and for a lot of people didn't believe.
Right.
Some did, and a lot of people were on the fence when it came to Jalen Hurts. And I put myself on the fence category.
I was on the fence.
Yeah, let me see you do this thing.
Was I on the fence? Was I on the fence, guys?
You were a believer.
You were a believer.
You were a believer.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but hold up, man. You were also a believer in the Raiders, okay? So I'm going to give you're 50-50 right now. But you were. You stood your ground. You were a believer. And I was like, come on, B. Brooks. We got to see it first.
Yeah.
I was just a wait-and-see guy. That's all.
There's Mama Brooks. Now,
Good morning, Mom.
Is it Kinlock or Loke? How do you say it?
Kinlock.
Kinlock's Lane?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Kinlock's Lane. Yeah, that's my mom. Kinlock is a place. It's a suburb in St. Louis.
Really?
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. It's a small look, but it's like one of the roughest neighborhood in St. Louis. You know, crime per capita, it was worse than anywhere else in St. Louis. So it's like,
wow.
And that's
but everybody, you know, but it's exactly what the name Kinlock is. Everybody's kin and everybody's locked in there. So that's what it was. I wonder a few that got out. You know what I mean?
So is that a real town, or is it just a slang for a town? Okay.
Kinlock was the first black town in St. Louis.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. So yeah, it's pretty rough, man. We got bussed out to McClure North, probably about an hour, maybe 15 minutes to an hour away from Kinlock, you know, just to get in a good school district. Like we didn't even have a police station. We didn't have a police station. We got policed by the county. The county police would come in and police us.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. That's why I had to play football. That's why my mom made me play football. Nobody really liked. Well, I didn't. I didn't like to play football. Football was not my cup of tea. You know why? Football is hard. I didn't like playing football because it's very, very hard. You know what I'm saying?
So you didn't like the physicality of the game?
No. Physicality, running, hitting people. I wasn't into all that, bro. I wanted to play basketball. I wanted to be the first Charles. I wanted to be the next Charles Barkley. He's the first. I wanted to be the next Charles Barkley. But at the time, I was only 6'3". I was on 6'3", about 230 pounds my senior year. You know, I told you I played tight end too. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say that's tight end size right there.
Yeah, so I was really now it was nothing for me. Like if I didn't go to college, because wasn't nobody really going to college in my family. Like there's a few that went to college in my family, you know. But like from my mom, my pops and all that. No, I was good with working everybody in my family worked at the post office.
Mm-hmm.
So I was good with going to work at the post office. I just thought that I was in line to go work for the post. Like even my brother works for the post office. You know what I'm saying? Philip works for the post office. Grandmother, uncles, aunts. You know.
Here's one I'm from St. Louis. He's speaking the truth. Okay.
See?
Okay. All right.
Who says that? Who's that? Which one is that?
Only as
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe it. I don't question anything, man.
That's one of the few things I believe Barrett said, you know. Tell me no.
One of the few things But yeah, man, but like, you know, I grew up and bro, everybody around me is looking the same way as I look. And so I mean, I didn't say anything different from anything else. You know what I'm saying? People say, oh, you know, you lived in a poor neighborhood, but I didn't know I was poor because everybody else was living just like I was living.
Oh, wow.
I got everything essentially that I wanted, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Got the essentials. But you know, I mean, it's not like, you know, anything other, you know, I didn't want for anything, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't going out there playing in Nikes and stuff like that, you know, just wasn't that. Wasn't that type of party.
Gotcha.
But you know, it was cool. It was cool. I enjoyed my childhood. Yeah, my childhood.
Yeah. Even when you were shooting people with BB guns
in your ninja costume.
With the fake sword.
We know all the dirt. Oh man!
Why did my brother come on?
I'm telling you, man. It was. I think Mama Brooks might have spilled those beans too. So what's up, everybody in the chat section? Everybody listening, everybody streaming. Yeah, as we mentioned, look, you know, when you get off to a 3-0 start and your offense is humming the way the Eagles' offense is humming, and the quarterback's playing the way he's playing, you know, he's what he's doing is he's making the naysayers into believers. Those who were on the fence, like I was, certainly believe, and the people like Barrett who bought in are, you know, not surprised that he's playing this well. I didn't think he'd be playing to this level. You know, I think he deserves a lot of credit. I think Sirianni, Steichen, adding AJ Brown, I think it's a combination of a lot of different things that have this offense really humming right now. And I'm telling you, I don't think we've even scratched the surface. Like they haven't even they didn't run the ball that much last week. I mean, there's this offense and the way Jalen Hurts is playing, man. And this is going to be a real challenge against this Jaguars team that is so far a real good defense. But you got to be just blown away with the way Hurts is playing thus far.
Well, his 3-game success is the perfect storm. It all started with him putting in a time out on the West Coast. The stories we've heard about him spending endless amount of time in the film session at the NovaCare complex with coaches, asking the questions, going out there, rectifying the mistakes and OTAs and mini camps, enhancing it, the organization for putting better product around him. You know, we talk about the addition of AJ Brown, but I think a significant part of his success, especially the last 2 games, has been due to the defense, the improved defense, adding Bradbury, a decent draft, adding the necessary components, Reddick, Kazir White, to get the offense the ball back more times than not, to allow that offense to do a lot of the things that it has done. And you're right. I don't think we've seen the best of Jalen yet. You talk about them not being able to run the ball last week. That's because that's one of the few things Washington did well, was stonewall the run. Mm-hmm. But it forced 3 games now. We've watched Jalen perform in 3 different type of scenarios.
Yes, exactly.
You see what I'm saying? And he's answered the question in all 3 scenarios. You know, to have almost 1,000 yards passing in 3 games and make minimum amount of mistakes tells you that everybody who's invested in this young man, first and foremost himself, is really paying off right now.
Yeah, I just love that we're seeing so many of the things we wondered about. He's dispelling. Like, he's not afraid to roll to his right. Yep. He's not afraid to drop a little touch pass in there, which wasn't a strength. He's working the middle part of the field. You know, I mean, it's all been on full display, Barrett. And I think Derek makes a great point. First game, by necessity, he's running for his life, but he's still making plays. Second game, you know, he's hitting it. You know, it was feeding different players. Devontae, obviously, you know, with a big one, and AJ. And then last week, you know, he's just doing it in a number of different ways that make you think this guy's become a complete quarterback.
And you know, if you listen to what Shane Steichen said in his interview, he said when he was getting interviewed by us, you know, the writers, you know, the reporters and all that. First thing he said, he commented on, we can beat you in a number of different ways. We're not going to necessarily say, all right, we haven't been running the ball, so we're going to go out there and run the ball. We do whatever we need to do to win the game. If it takes Jalen Hurts' arm, we're going to do that. If it takes Jalen Hurts' leg, we're going to do that. That's why I was a firm believer in don't mess with his intangibles. Don't mess with what he does best. If he wants to run, daggone it, let him run. But understand that he understands what he needs to do to make this offense work. I saw nothing wrong with the amount of times that he ran in Detroit. He has 17 rushes. And everybody's like, oh, he's not going to be healthy. Well, I mean, when are you ever healthy in the NFL? There's always something that can happen to you in the NFL. So I've already come to, to the realization that if you're going to get hurt, you're going to get hurt. But at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts he's a player, man. He's a baller.
And you know what? I don't think he's a risk taker. In other words,
no, that's another thing.
Right. He's not Michael Vick. With all due respect to Mike. Mike would take chances that he shouldn't have taken. And I think it shortened his career a little bit. Carson Wentz, challenging guys. Jalen's going to get hit sometimes because the amount he runs, but he's not out there seeking it out, contact or anything. He's trying to get out of bounds. He's trying to slide.
He's not pulling a Carson.
He's
not doing that.
No, he's not. I think in that sense, there's a Russell Wilson comp where I think Russell Wilson is very smart at knowing when to get down and get on the ground and those kind of things.
He'll stop, drop, and roll. He needs to teach Covey that, stop, drop, and roll. He's going to get decapitated.
He's going to get rolled. He keeps, and I don't blame him. Look, you got to block for the guy too, but I hear you there. No, but I think all those things are on full display, and that's the beauty, man. Like, he's showing you he can play at this level. You couple that with the leadership and the work ethic, man.
It's all there, It's all front and center for you, So the first game, he showed that he can go out there and run, and he had 90 yards rushing. Then the second game, he had to do a little bit of both. He showed you a little touch pass, getting the ball out on time, So he had to do that. And did a little running, had, 2 rushing touchdowns. A rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. So he took that and he said, all right, I'm going to go to the extreme. I'm going to go with passing. He only had 20 yards rushing, but he had over 300 yards passing the ball. Right. So you could do whatever you want to do. Pick your poison as a defense. He's got defensive coordinators scared to death. Mm-hmm. Now, I appreciate you have gone a long way since the middle with A-Town and Harry. Yeah, appreciate that. But when you look at this Jaguar defense, everybody's up in their uproar about this Jaguar defense and how good they are. Yes, they are good. They are young. But best believe there's a game plan on how to stop these guys. They do a lot of line movements. Line movements meaning they do a lot of ET stunts and TE stunts with the defensive line and linebackers. But understand this.
What, Barrett? They're doing that to create pressure because they don't think they can do it just in the traditional way.
So they'll have an in slam down and bring a tackle around, or they'll bring a tackle and slam into the tackle and then loop that end around in the inside. That you can generate pressure that way. But please understand this: when you do that to a running quarterback, you create rushing lanes for him. So you might see a lot more rushing in this game because of that. And also, when you run the ball against fronts like that, if you get one of those guys cut off from crashing down, you stop him from crashing down and getting to that other gap. That's a gaping hole because everybody else is slanting too. So if you cut off one guy, man, them running backs are bumping their heads on the goalpost. So the same thing make you laugh, make you cry. You can go in there and say, all right, we're going to generate pressure by this a big offensive line. We're going to make them move their feet and do all this slanting and stuff like that. But just get cut off just one time, and they'll take it to the house. And that's what this Jaguar defense has to also understand. But also, let's put things in perspective too. Let's look at. Let me go to the roster. When I went to and looked at the game again, I didn't see the Chargers out there.
You're talking about the Jags game. Okay. No, I got you.
I'm talking the Jags. I didn't see the Chargers out there. Meaning when I didn't see the Chargers out there, you see a quarterback that's maybe 60%.
Yeah, he's pretty banged up.
Yep. Keenan Allen wasn't in the game. Corey Lindsey, the
Slater,
all-pro
left tackle. Yep.
Slater left the game.
Bosa left.
Come on now, J.C. Jackson. He wasn't. This team was the walking wounded.
They're like the Baltimore Ravens of last year. The Chargers. Yes. They are.
So everybody's scared about this. When I'm looking at this film, like, this ain't the same Charger team that I saw 2 weeks earlier. Mm-hmm. They're not playing at the level that I saw them beat up on the Raiders. That's not the same team. So everybody's scared about what they're doing. Like I said before, Philly, I'm not worried about them doing what they need to do. One thing they're going to do the things that they didn't do right in the game before.
Barrett,
if they didn't tackle right, if they didn't run the ball right, they didn't pass right, they correct what they need to do going into games.
I'm curious. I just want to pick up on something you said before we move on to something else with the stunts that Jacksonville's been doing.
Yes.
Do you think they'll do less, or Do you view that as, hey, we're going to play to our strengths, and
That's
if
what they're
Hurts
gonna
makes
do.
plays with his legs, he'll make plays with his legs.
That's their identity. They move around because you know what? They're a smaller defensive line. They're smaller, meaning they have guys on the outside that are rushing the passer that are small. Trayvon Walker is a small defensive end or a big linebacker. So, you pick what you want. These guys, like I look at the guys up front, they're really a 30 front. They're really a 30. They're just like the Eagles. They're really a 30 front. They're not really a 4-down front.
Okay.
They use linebackers in positions of defensive ends. When you have those type of lineups, you can't just leave them out there. You can't sit them right there because they're too small to go up against a guy like Jordan Mailata or Lane Johnson. They're too small. They can't take that type of punishment. So you got to move these guys around. So that's what they're going to do, move these guys around. I tell you what, though, that's a real man, number 33. Lloyd is a real bona fide linebacker.
Yep.
Yes, he is.
Devin Lloyd's a real line. You're gonna have to block. You have to account for where he is in the number.
And Josh Allen.
Yes, but Josh Allen's a guy that's going to be on the end. You know exactly where he's going to be at. He's going to be on one of those two sides on the end, and he's going to be crashing down, rushing, slanting, doing something that he gets free. And that's why they get free so much, because if you can't pick up those stunts, that's all they're doing right now in Philadelphia practice. In practice today, right now, the offensive line coaches tell, hey, look, they're going to slant. He's working them guys to death on stopping these slants, stopping these stunts. They're trading off. You know what I'm saying? They see something, they sit, they flash, they see something, they come, boom, they come up and they switch it off. That's what they're working on. They're not stupid. Now, when I say that they work on what they need to work on, they don't worry about everything else. Of course, they're going to work on what Jacksonville does the best, but they're going to cross their T and dot their I's. They're going to do what they want to do and have Jacksonville, basically go out there and stop what they do.
If you're taking away slants, what are you countering with the Eagles? How do you hurt them if they're really just overemphasizing that?
You run the ball. You run the ball using like zone plays.
Zone blocking,
plays, yeah. They pick it up in the wash. Zone plays, when you're blocking zone, you're not blocking a man. It's different. You can't really run powers to those type of plays because when you're blocking man, those men are leaving. Since they're leaving where you're trying to block to. You run zone plays. Zones pick up everything. Zone plays, when they're blocking zone plays and run plays, they're not necessarily going to a man. They're going to a spot. They're going to a zone and picking up whoever gets to that zone. So if you mess around and scoop block a guy that's supposed to get to his gap in the defense, and you scoop him, you keep him from getting to that gap in the defense, and that the guy you're scooping with gets up to a linebacker, that entire zone that he was trying to get to that gap will be wide open.
The perfect gap for a running back is to cut back against it.
Exactly.
He cuts back against it.
And you're slanting guys and pulling around guys, and if they don't get there, it's wide open, man. So they're gonna have a yin to their yang. They're gonna understand. They're gonna have a black to their white. A green go to their stop. They're gonna have all that stuff. We have one of the best offensive line in the league because they're coached very, very well. So they'll be ready going. You're gonna see a lot of draw plays. This game is gonna be about draw plays also. Draw plays and screen plays to the running backs will be rush. Huge this game. Yep. Because you're letting them get up the field. They're twisting and everything else. And you let that little back outside, and bam, he's wide open. He'll be, now you got your offensive line blocking the next level because they let the defensive line go up the field. Now those offensive linemen are getting to those linebackers and safeties and stuff. You're going to have big play. This is going to be a big play type of game.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I love the tight end screen to Goddard. He's a phenomenal tight end screen tight end. I mean, he is excellent at that. You can see him have a big game. This could be Goddard's real breakout.
Exactly. So you're gonna go and that and you look at defenses. They've been trying to stop AJ Brown and they've been trying to stop Devontae Smith.
Yep.
Now it's his turn. You're right. It's his turn. He may have a big game, but when you have movement, guys, a smaller defensive line with movement, you run screens, you run draws, you take their aggressive nature and use it against them. Just like what Detroit did against our defensive line. They ran traps. They ran screens. They ran plays to get your defense up the field, take advantage of their aggressiveness, and you throw right in behind them, or you let the ball sneak right in behind them with draw plays.
I love
That's
it.
just my assessment. Yeah,
Dude, great breakdown, man. That was awesome. That was awesome. Yeah, and it's I tell you, man, how about starting this season this way? 3-0. You got last week Wentz, this week Peterson, 3 straight players of the week, now player of the month. I mean, it's a damn good way to start a season, fellas.
And they haven't scratched the surface on how really good they could be.
I agree.
They haven't scratched the surface because they have not had a complete game yet.
No.
They have complete halves, but they have yet to have a complete game where they just going out there and playing and just totally, making things happen. They have played halves. You know what I'm saying? So they haven't played a full game yet.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a lot of meat left on the bone. This team is really good, man, really good. And not to take anything from Jacksonville. I can't take anything away from them. Because when I look at them on film, Trevor Lawrence is the real deal. He's an athlete, but he doesn't run around like Jalen Hurts to go get first downs. He runs around to complete the ball down the field.
To extend plays.
Right. He's buying time more so trying to get the ball down the field than he is trying to be a guy that's going to go run for a first down.
But he is athletic. Athlete. Like the mistake is this guy's just a statue. He's not a statue.
Right. He's very athletic, very, very much so. And the weapons that he has, the 2 Jones boys, Zay Jones and Marvin Jones.
Yeah.
They're playing at a high level, man. And then you add in Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
I kind of downplayed. Why the heck would they give him all that money?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we just didn't see him. We didn't see him a lot because we're on the East Coast.
Well, not only that, but he was a third wheel. He was a third wheel in Arizona.
Yes, and they saw something. They saw something there.
Yeah.
I can remember when he was back at Texas A&M. He was what's his name's number 1 target. What's the crazy guy that was there?
Manziel.
Baker Mayfield.
Manziel.
Yeah, he and Mike Evans were his guys.
Yeah.
And don't forget about Evan Ingram now. Don't.
Well, if he catches it, the only thing really about him was his health.
Exactly.
If he's healthy,
New York.
He was a weapon.
And the 2-headed running attack, guys. This is a nice little Robinson and ETN are no joke. I mean, this is a pretty good team. Yeah,
it is.
Barry, you sound pretty confident. And
yes,
the Eagles win this game, and I think the Eagles win the game too. I'm not so sure it's. I don't think this is a laugher by any stretch. I think this is going to be a competitive game.
It's going to be definitely a competitive game, but they got to put a full game together.
They do,
because that team is too young and dumb not to know that they're not supposed to be as good.
Well, you're going to be in a tight game in the second half sooner rather than later, where you're going to have to. And by the way, fairness, the defense has shown up the last 2 weeks in the second half. It's the offense, so it's not. It's one side.
Exactly. But you look at that defense. Our defense. They've shown the capacity to beat you however way you want it now. I'm so confident in their ability to go out there and cover that the defensive line, if they don't get there, they can at least cover enough to handle those type of situations. I can remember, having to eat antacids like they were M&Ms playing around the DBs that we had. Mm-hmm. I mean, every time it was a third down, I just knew we weren't going to be able to stop anybody, and they were just going to keep the chains moving.
Right.
This is a lot different. We really have legitimately 3 good corners that can go out there and cover. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Gannon does not have to be scared to blitz. He can blitz because he has guys that can cover. So, but plus his front, Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham, I don't know what they're smoking. I don't know what they're eating. I don't know what they're drinking. But please give me some of whatever they got, bro. They found a fountain of youth, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They absolutely did. You're right. But that's the part you wonder if there's the momentum carryover for Fletcher, for Brandon into this week, because it was so strong, and Hassan,
they're playing for contracts, man. These are contract guys that are going out there right now. Mm-hmm. Both of those guys need contracts, so of course they're going to play just like White. Kazir White needs a contract, so they're going to play. They're going to try to break the Eagles. They're going to try to break the bank with them by playing the way they're playing.
Fletcher Cox has double motivation. He's not just playing for a contract. He wants to stay in Philadelphia. He wants to be another Brandon Graham.
Yes.
He doesn't want to have to relocate and basically put himself under the microscope all over again in some new city, especially if he ends up with a team that's not as good as the team he's currently on next year. A lot of times these players, when they get to that point, now it's about getting as much money as you can while you can. And it means you may have to take a step back with a team that's evolving but not quite there yet. And Fletcher doesn't want to be put in that situation. So he knows he's got to do something exceptional this year. We chastised him the first 2 games because we're wondering, where the heck is Fletcher Cox? Well, he came out. He came out of hibernation last week. But he's got to do it consistently.
Yeah.
The thing about Fletcher we harped about all season long last year is he was missing more than he was seen in 2021. He can't do that this year and expect to be paid by this organization and stay with this organization beyond this year.
Especially when you're right now, at least, and I know they lost Barnett, but they had that rotation where these guys should be able to not be gassed in games, and you can kind of keep them fresh.
You should be ready by that. Should be ready by that.
Yeah.
That's huge. Remember the Super Bowl year? That's exactly what they had at the defensive line. Guys rotating. You know what I'm saying? They look even better this year because they have guys rotating that can go out there and really. Right now, I don't know. People may disagree with me, but I think Sweat is the best pass rusher we have. The best pass rusher we have to me is Sweat. Josh Sweat can make it happen, man, and he hasn't even got it going yet. It still has 2.5 sacks now.
Yeah, no, I think he is ability-wise, Barrett. I just need to see it a little bit more consistently from the guy.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think he is, but I need to see it now. I need to see what I saw in him. His get-off, man, is unbelievable. His ability to, like he has a one-hand stab, like when he comes in, and one-hand stab, he's so long that they can't put their hands on him, and that's how he turns the corner. This kid can play, man, but I need to see it. I need to see it. Going out there, and I see the fruits of his labor that he's been working his ass off, and he needs to really show me what he could do. But this will be the perfect game because this is a pretty good offensive line, man.
Yeah, it is.
Cam Robinson and Jawan Taylor are two really good tackles.
Yep.
And we already know Brandon Sheriff. He's been playing against us for years.
Yep.
So this is gonna be. Everybody's saying this is the best team that they played thus far. I'll say this. They're the most balanced team that I've seen thus far. Usually have a good offense against a bad defense, or vice versa. Or this team is good on both halves. Both sides of the ball. They're good on offense with Lawrence. They're also good on defense with the additions of Trayvon Walker and Devin Lloyd.
Yep,
they're good.
Yeah. All right, good. Nice little breakdown there, Barrett. Love it right out of the chute, man. We'll keep it rolling. We come back. We're going to talk about Jacksonville's coach. You may be familiar with the name, Doug Peterson. You may have heard of that guy. We'll get into what his reception will be, some memories. Go down memory lane a little bit, continue to dig into this game as well. By the way, 2:00, Najee Good, former Eagle, is going to be jumping on with us. Najee was on the Super Bowl team, fellas. So, he also played in Jacksonville. So he's got a nice pulse on both organizations. So we'll talk to him at 2:00. Looking forward to that. Some NFL stuff. We've got a game tonight. By the way, good matchup with the Dolphins and the Bengals, which we'll dive into. We also have a London game this week, the 9:30 a.m. Eastern time start. You want to get it rolling early? That'll be this Sunday. So we'll do all of that. Don't go anywhere. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right, let's talk about Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group. You know how difficult it can be to find the right person with your finances, with all your hard-earned money, so you can set yourself up for the future, but for the now as well. And Jim Murray is the guy that I found, and you will be happy with him too, whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, you're setting up a small business and you need help with the employee benefits. He can help you with that. I've entrusted my IRA, my 401k rollovers with Jim, and I'm telling you, it was the best move that I ever made. Give him a call, 610-996-4751, 610-996-4751, or you could email him as well, Murray, MURRAY.Jim@principal.com. That's Murray.Jim@principal.com.